Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire, and look at this pea field. It is like a bowling green. No more long barley stubble to deal with today, but the question is, are there going to be any finds to be had? Welcome back to the fields of Perthshire. Well, no hat today. Bit of silvery grey hair going on though, but that's what happens when you hit your 40s. So, it's a bit breezy, as you can see, with a willow tree behind me. But I'm back out on the fields of Perthshire. And the field that I'm in today is formerly a pea field. Got harvested about a week ago. And I've got other options because I've got 2 or 3 fields nearby which are also barley stubble. So I've got options. If this field doesn't come to much, then I can always hop into another field. It's had lots of finds. Martin had a beautiful medieval silver item, which we think is a ring that's either been not completed or it's been flattened into one long strip. So that's with Treasure Trove just now. They've had it for about 18 months, but he doesn't have any update yet. So I don't think I'm looking at the camera, but never mind. Yeah, just me today, the XP DEUS 2, and let's go and see what we can find. Oh, and welcome also to the new subscribers, because I've shot up to 30,200. So 200 new subscribers in a couple of days. So welcome. Right, let's go and see what we can discover today. It's taken all of 20 seconds to get the first target. Look, there's the edge of the field right there, and I've got a target right here. 71, tell you it's a bit squeaky. Could well be aluminium, but hopefully the ground's not too hard to dig. We're out. Well, could be aluminium, but as you know, I always film the first spade, the first target, and then I begin to edit out some of the junk, and as predicted, there you go, piece of aluminium. Well, I know the last time I was in this field last year there was quite a lot of aluminium, but as I say, there's some good finds in here as well, so hopefully there's something better than this to come. Well, that was short-lived, because I think the farmers planted that field. I got a couple of bits of what looks like barley when I was filling that hole back in, and I haven't seen the farmer for a week, so I think he's actually gone straight in and he's planted it with a winter barley crop. So I don't want to obviously upset him, so I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going into the neighbouring barley stubble field, and I'll check with him to see whether or not it has been planted. But for now, damn, we're back to the long barley stubble. Oh well, beggars can't be choosers. Okay, we're straight in with a signal yet again. 85, 87. And it is straight in with a tin can. Damn. Okay, I've gone for a real change, which is not like me. I've flipped over to program 9, which is relic mode. And what I've done is I've gone to menu, and the discrimination IAR, I've increased it from 0 to 5, because this is an all metal mode. And the hope is then that that's going to stop most of the iron targets from coming through, because program 9 on the XP DEUS 2 is an all metal mode. So I watched some of the XP metal detecting school videos. Gary, I think's his name, if I remember rightly. And he does a lot of information about settings for the XP DEUS 2, what the different programs are, talks you through how you can make basic changes. And what I was trying to find was a program that will allow me to sweep the coil above the barley, make it a little bit easier. So this program is more designed for bigger targets, but just here where the tyre track is, I've got my first diggable target, which is a solid 96. Now, I have never ever used this program in this setting, and the ground is rock hard. Oof, stony. There we go. And I suspect that this might well be aluminium. Well, there it is right there. This is definitely some sort of aluminium, maybe a bit of an aluminium pipe. But shows the detector's working anyway. This one was an 8485. Didn't sound great initially, but sounds a wee bit better now it's out the ground somewhere. Nope. Well, it sounded like it was out the ground. It's definitely on. Yes. Sure, that was a pretty good signal. Right, what is going on here? Whatever it is appears to have vanished. Now either it's another target under the ground, or I'm being daft. I think the answer is I'm being daft. God, I don't know what I've done. Right, seems to be a target somewhere around there, but I don't know if there's another one still in the hole. There's two targets. Or one massive target. Right, I'm making a mess of this. Not a great start. I'll be back to you in a minute. Okay, I really don't know what's going on here. I'm totally at a miss. Right, this is relic mode. Listen to this. Covers a huge area. Whatever it is must be about 4 foot across. So, let's change it to deep HC. See what happens. There, 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 there. '86, '87, '88. Right, I'm not going to be able to dig this on my own, whatever it is. So I'm going to fill it in. You're probably all shouting at the screen, going, what on earth are you thinking? But it's not going to go anywhere. So I think I'll just leave it there. And I'll see what Marty thinks when he comes out with me next time. On to the next. And hopefully it's not a Bronze Age axe hoard that I've just left. Okay. 78, 79. Well, that is something. And it is... oh, it's copper alloy. Well, thank goodness for that. Well, if we can find that, we can find a coin. And I think that will go down as junk. Well, more junk. Well, I've given up on relic. It is just... there's too much going on. So, the reason I've been able to give up is because the stubble here is much shorter than it was at the edge of the field. So I've gone back to my tried and tested program number 3. I'm not the expert that you all thought I maybe was, but yeah, I think I'm learning I need to learn to walk before I can run. So, but we've got a signal almost straight away on program 3. It's a bit faint. 57, 58. Whatever it is, I've just knocked it back in the hole. What's that? That is green. And yes, green. Copper. Maybe a bit of flattened water pipe, but better than aluminium. Just on the hour mark, I've got my first relic. And look at that. That sums up just how bad it's been so far. It's part of a bullet casing. Brass. Probably a 303, and quite possibly from the military. But that's about as good as it gets. I can assure you, metal detecting, particularly in Scotland, in the fields of Perthshire, I know you get a kind of skewed view as to how much good stuff we find, but trust me, there is a huge amount of stuff behind the scenes, days like this, that you rarely ever see. Oh well. We've got another digger. Certainly plenty of signals. Unfortunately quite a lot of junk. Well, practically everything. This one's a 94. This is really one of those days. So, there is a massive stone. You see that? Huge in comparison to the other stones in this field. And what do you think? Where's the target? You guessed it. Under the stone. And there is the stone in question. A beauty. And what do you think was under it? That is, it looks almost like a paint tin or something. It's got a wee plug in the side of it, but it is what we call in the business junk. Ah, what a terrible day so far. This hole has been a nightmare. I didn't film the initial signal because it sounded a bit irony, a bit junky, and right enough. It was coming through as high as 65, 66, so I thought it could be something. This came out the hole, I filled it back in, and then there was still a signal there, still a 65, 64, and I dug it out again, couldn't find it, filled it back in, got the signal again, and finally I found this, and I think we've got our first coin, and it's an old one. That is another turner, I do believe. I don't see any signs of a shank on there. However, as I mentioned on my previous video, these do not survive well in the ground at all because they're made of copper. But you can see how thin it is. It looks the right size, but I'll give it a wee rub with a bendy thumb, but it looks pretty toasty. Get right back to you. Alas, it is completely gone from what I can see. You can just make out the inner circle. I can't see any defining detail. The bendy thumb is not going to be able to bring that back to life, that's for sure. But it's a turner. It's a copper 2p, and the chances are it's either going to be James the 6th, 1567 to 1625, his son Charles the 1st, 1625 to 1649, or his son, his son Charles the 2nd, 1660 to 1685. There were a few William and Marys as well, which would be 1688 until 1701, 1702. So it's within that era, that sort of time zone. But it's promising. It shows you that there were people around here sometime in the 15, 16, or maybe very beginning of the 1700s. Better than anything I've had so far, even though it's toast. It's a bit soul destroying to have to make so many recordings. This is about my 80th clip. I suspect you've probably only seen 5 or 6 things. But it's just been pretty diabolical. 72, 73. Come on, even a wee button would be nice. Well, it's not a button, but it is a bit of copper. Yep, it's another nondescript piece, just like the various I've had already. Well, what do you reckon to that? It's iron, sounded reasonable, a couple of spadefuls down, and it looks like it's either been a big nail at some point with a huge head, or it's some sort of, I don't know, boss. Something that's been fitted either into wood or into leather or something, but yeah, maybe a crucifixion nail, I'm not really sure, or certainly the head off a nail, but it's massive if it's a nail. But let me know in the comments below. This signal was masked by an iron sort of, I don't know, staple or something. Anyway, it's out the hole, 83. 84, I've kind of taken to only filming them if they're fairly high chance that they're good, and I'm rewarded with more aluminium. This really is not my day. This time was a squeaky 67, and we've got a berry clip. deep iron this time. And should I be concerned that this is slightly shell-shaped, as in military, artillery related? The military were around here during the Second World War. Lots of old photographs of tanks and so on around here, but it looks more like anti-aircraft sort of size if it was. But I think I'll go and put this somewhere else apart from my hands. And please let this be something good. 89 solid. What's that? Yes, you guessed it. It is more aluminium. Well, that is us. I think I'm going to rename this the Field of Broken Dreams, because it's been a bit of a disaster all in all. And yes, okay, I got one coin that could be from the 15 or 1600s, but it's completely toasted. So yeah, I did a tot up. I've shot 84 videos, so I've dug 84 holes, and I found a bit of a broken bullet, what might be an artillery shell, and that little copper coin. I think that's about as good as it got. Other than that, it's just been aluminium, tin foil and junk. So I am, should I say, I was considering just deleting all this and just not posting it at all, but I think I've got to be genuine and show you the bad days as well as the good. So I don't know, the Field of Broken Dreams, that might well be the title. So thank you all for watching. Take care, and fingers crossed, next time it'll be a little bit better. Okay, bye for now.